Well, I'm in the beautiful home of TV chef James Martin. James, thanks very much for having me here today. It's great to talk to you. And you've got this exciting new book out, The Collection. So just tell us a little bit about that.
It's an accumulation of many, many years in the industry. Still at 34, saying many, many years, but I started cooking when I was such a young age. So it's kind of an accumulation of everything that I've learned over the years. A lot of traditional British food, but some French in there, classic Italian. So it's a mixture of everything that I've learned.
And presumably, everything that you like to cook. I mean, it's been very well produced. It's obviously, it's not a cheap production, is it? There's lots of lovely photos in there. You've tried to produce something that people will really like here, I think.
I think the bar's been raised year on year, RE cookery books, and I think everybody's up their game. And I think when it comes to the design, the content, i.e. pictures, and the amount of recipes as well, this is the biggest one that I've done to date. Over 300 recipes in there as well. So it has taken quite a long time. And I think, the quality of it does really show. And people want more.
Now, we'll come back to the book in a minute, but I'd like to talk a little bit about more about you and how you got into cookery and that kind of thing. Because as you said just now, you got in at a very early age, didn't you? I mean, was cookery always something that you wanted to do?
It was the only thing that I could do, really, at school, I suppose. I failed every single exam at school. But I could just naturally cook from a young age. I remember it was probably 6, 7 I started to do it properly. And my father bought me my first set of knives and my chef's jacket when I was a young kid. Put me in the kitchens of Castle Howard. I started pot washing like most chefs do, and I always had an aspiration to go into the kitchen. And then I got that opportunity when I was about 8, and never really looked back. I kind of devoted my whole life to it. And I think that's the one thing that you have to do, really. And as long as you find something at a young age, it really does help.
And so you were encouraged by your parents because, you could see some parents saying, oh, that's not a proper job, you want to go and train to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or, something else.
It was. Well, my father was in the catering trade, so I didn't really get that. And he knew that if you put in the effort, you'll get the rewards out of it. And the rewards really in catering aren't really financial. They're, more... that please you, where you get to where you get to in your career and what age you get to in your career, and you set yourself goals. And I always had goals and aspirations as a young kid. Never thought I would be doing what I'm doing now, but certainly, really, as a young kid, I wanted to be a head chef when I was young. I wanted my own restaurant, like most young kids and young chefs do, and really managed to achieve all that. But.
And how did that come about, though? Because that's the interesting thing. You said you wanted to achieve it while you were quite young. You were a head chef by the time you were 22. So how did you go from being in the kitchen at Castle Howard, aged 8, to being a head chef at 22?
Well, most people do it really. A lot of people do it by working in the local pubs. Nothing wrong with that. Most people do it by working in the local Hilton Hotel. Nothing wrong with that. And gradually working your way through. Me personally, because I wanted... really so much, I wanted to train with the best, and if you want to be one of the best, you have to train with the best, and then an element of their expertise and skills rub onto you, and it's been a proven track record. Most of the people that went through the kitchens of Marco Pierre White have gone on to be successful. There's Gordon and there's everybody else, and you get nout for nout in this job. That's what my dad always said. You have to work for everything, and nobody ever gives you anything. You've got to earn respect and earn everything. And I think, hopefully I've paid my dues in the industry, and I've worked really hard, and I continue to work really hard. And still you have that same work ethic.
You mentioned earlier that you could never have imagined how it's gone now, and of course you're a big household name. I'm told by my producer that you're the housewife's favourite. I don't know whether that's the case or not. But the whole TV thing came along, with Ready Steady Cook. What happened there? How did that come about? And then to become the big star that you are today.
Well, the Hotel de Van, really, where I worked, was a new trendy hotel, brand new concept. It was a new idea. I'd just come from. The Michelin-starred Chewton Glen, second, only 5 Red Star hotel outside of London, top 5 best hotels in the world, and I'd worked there for 2 years as pastry chef. And then, literally, the managing director and the head sommelier left to open this new concept hotel called the Hotel de Van, and I was literally there, 22 years old as head chef. There was 3 of us in the kitchen, me and 2 others, and we just worked incredibly hard. I think I worked for the first 3 months. I didn't even have time to go get myself accommodation, so I slept on the sofa in the lounge of the hotel. God's honest truth, all my gear was in the back of my car and the managing director's office. And And then I lived above a Chinese takeaway with another chef of mine who now works for me, Chris. He lived above the Indian restaurant.
That must have
which
been
was
a bit
next
of
door to each other.
a bit of a change from the Hotel de Vin.
Yeah, but it puts you grounding, really. And I think, they're the most vital things in your life, really. You understand that when you have nothing, you understand the value of having something. And I really learnt that lesson quite majorly. I remember leaving London £28,000 in debt. I remember at the hotel, Hotel de Vin, I was 22, and we're not talking a long time ago, 12 years ago. I was on £11,000 a year. I didn't have enough money to buy Michael Jackson's new album, so I had to save up 2 weeks to pay for it, and it was 15 quid. And when you know that you've been through that, and you're grafting and you're grafting and grafting, you won't actually earn anything, but you're achieving awards and status in your industry. That, to me, was satisfying.
If someone had tapped you on the shoulder then and said,
I would have given it up.
In 12 years' time.
No, I would have given it up. I was not far off giving it all up. I was 24, I was about to throw in the towel and jack it in and do something else.
So what stopped you?
Accumulation of several things. I actually joined the police force when I was 24. I did decide to jack it all in.
And this was after you'd achieved success, and you were a great pastry chef, and you worked with some great
head chef
people.
at the Hotel de Vin for 3 years, and I kind of thinking, there's just no way out of this. You're just working more and more hours. You're earning less and less money. Do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? And then I decided that I would join the police force. My dad was a copper, ex-copper, so I decided to go up and do my medicals and training, and then so I got a phone call from the Hotel de Vin saying the head chef that had just taken over from me had left. Can I come out and help at a function? So I literally came down one weekend, all the way from Yorkshire, helped out. Within a week of starting back there again, I got the bug again. Within a week of that, I got asked by a TV producer when I go up there for an interview, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Could you believe it when you got that request?
Well, I kind of thought it was a joke, to be honest, because I thought she was old enough to be my mother. I thought it's the oldest chat line in your book, we'll make you a star. And I thought it was a joke. And I didn't have enough money to go up to London, so she sent down a chauffeur-driven car for me. I remember doing the what they call a pilot, which is a test thing. And that was it. I got the job.
And of course, you were on with Fern Britain, weren't you? I remember watching the Ready City Cooking in the early days when it came out, because in my career at that point I wasn't doing very much then. 4:30, I thought I'd watch TV, see what's on. And it was a great show, wasn't it? And
it was a great concept. Not the first show that I ever did. The first show I ever did was I think it was for Sky 1 to 3. It was a live show every day. And I know that I'm doing Saturday Kitchen this tomorrow, and Rick Stein's one of the VTs is his first dish he ever cooked on television. Well, I'm actually doing the very first dish I cooked on television some 10 years later.
And what's that dish?
You have to wait and see. But I cooked it for the Bee Gees, and I remember just absolutely just in awe at the bloody Bee Gees that were there. Now you kind of think, oh, well, it's just normal, because you're surrounded by that sort of stuff, when you're filming in these studios. But it's a pretty surreal job. It is a pretty surreal job, and it changes so much. Your whole career just kick fires into another direction, but you still never lose fact of the way where you come from. And at the end of the day, TV's great, but it's very fickle. You'll be in 1 minute, out the next, and as long as you understand that, and you understand that you're a chef at heart, and you can always go back into it, then I think the longevity will stay.
And that's how you feel if the TV ended all tomorrow
without
or next week.
Without a doubt, somebody says that I hate the word celebrity chef. I cannot stand it. I'm a chef. That's what I do for a living. I just happen to be cooking on television. It's not what I trained to do. I'm not a presenter. I'm not a TV presenter. I'm not. I fluff up the auto cue more than anybody. But at the end of the day, I'm a chef. I try my best to present a live television program. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you make mistakes. But I'm not a TV presenter.